All right. Welcome once again to the Movies and Stuff show. My name is Dan. This is Marty.
Good evening.
I'm hoping that we're going to have a show tonight. Abe is off this week. Abe has entrusted us to run the show.
I entrusted you guys last week, and we'll see if we can keep it together.
It worked last week.
It did to an extent.
It worked. We ran a show. See, I'm more worried about the last time. For those of you not familiar with what happened last time, Marty and I once tried to run the show when Abe wasn't here, and I don't know. We kept trying to go. I think we got like 30 something minutes into it.
We did most of the show. It just didn't. I don't think a lot of it was airing as we
No,
were doing.
no. Amanda in the chat saying this is her favorite episode ever because
Nice.
because Abe is
Oh,
is not here, I guess.
that's
Uh,
her. But nice if you think.
at least she can watch it. At least it's going on. Yeah. So Abe's
So because there's a big black screen on the computer right now. So,
oh, Robert Melee's watching us, so I guess it's working. And yeah, let's hope that this goes. We're this week we decided. Well, I guess Marty decided. I agreed to do a retro review of All the President's Men. I
it
think it's
seems
fitting.
fitting.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. I think so.
President's Day was yesterday. Everything is compared to Watergate nowadays, and war with the press from the president. So I mean,
Yeah,
this
there's
is
a
where
lot
it
going
started.
on. There's a lot going on. Before that, let's do some weekly stuff. And by the magic of me, I say weekly stuff. Boom. Marty can't see this. I
No,
but
yeah,
but it says weekly stuff on the screen now. It's like ooh magic. I guess the first topic I want to talk about is last week. You mentioned that you weren't on the show last week. You were in Italy, so
I
I just want to know what were the highlights? What were the best things that happened while you're in Italy?
Coliseum was pretty cool. I showed some pictures up on Movies and Stuff show Twitter that were really nice. We got a nice tour from a guy who down talked the Gladiator movie the entire time. So just one fun fact I learned from this guy, in the Gladiator movie where the Emperor does the whole, thumbs up, thumbs
Hmm.
down thing, completely made up. That never happened apparently. That was the thumbs up is not even something that was invented until much later in history. Another fun fact about the Colosseum: the Italians basically treated it like shit through most of the history. Every time they apparently needed something, they would just rip it out of the Colosseum. So like when they went to war, World War I and II, they needed steel, so they would just be big chunks of holes in the Colosseum where they would just went in and ripped the steel out. So I don't know when they realized they can charge foreigners to go in and visit it, but before then they just were ripping it out for parts. A lot of great food, of course. Pizza is eaten over there with a knife and fork, which took me a second to realize, being a New Yorker. Very nice weather, very nice people. No Trump talk, which I was surprised with. Plus, we all got a lot about
They have
Trump.
their own problems.
They have a lot of, Europeans have their own problems over there. While I was there was a taxi strike, so that made things difficult to get around.
And no Uber over there, right? There's no
There is
Uber.
Uber. That's why they were striking.
Oh,
Taxi drivers hate Uber everywhere. So
that's funny.
just like they do in New York and everywhere else, they hate Uber. I tweeted out I got to watch a lot of movies on the plane.
You did.
I tried to watch the worst possible movies I could.
Well, Trolls is not. Trolls is really good. You fell asleep during it, but Trolls is really good.
But the message I was getting as I was sleeping was about eating trolls and whatnot.
It
That
was
was
pretty
just
dark. It's a dark film.
Independence Day Resurgence, which everyone knew was bad, is actually worse. And say is no great, cinema, but it's a fun blockbuster, and it's kind of, it's iconic in its action and some of the things they did. But this one is just, you don't know what the fuck's happening. There's explosions, like all the aliens are back, and they just start bombing things. People are brought back just to die, and they don't even like. Vivica Fox comes back and is killed within a minute. They don't even tell you how Will Smith died.
Well, that was. They actually showed that I think in like a side video.
What's that? I mean, no one, they like expected people to go and watch their website to figure out the backstory or something. Jeff Goldblum, what's his father's name in the movie? The old,
Yeah. The guy that's on that donut show now, right?
yeah, dear, dear John from back in the 80s. He
Mm.
somehow looks younger 20 years later. So that was a shitty movie. But yeah, it was just fun. I remember you used to watch all your movies from airplanes.
I
When you
did.
were...
I watched a ton. Yeah, I think on one episode of my old podcast, I talked about I did the flight to and from Hong Kong.
Oh god.
Yeah, I think all in, I ended up watching like 13 or 14 movies or something like that. It was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't say how much, but I
Yeah.
had to. I don't know. Let's go to the chat real quick. Mel Gibson was brought up again, and I'm catching shit for bringing up Mel Gibson. I didn't even bring up Mel Gibson.
You didn't?
So,
No. Richard James asked if Italians are as anti-Semitic as Mel Gibson. So.
no, but there's the typical, cliche French jokes that are, but, no, mostly nice people.
Richard James is also criticizing your mic. I said before the show that your mic sounded a little rough, so I don't know if everyone's experiencing that issue or
It could be.
maybe. Abe's not here, so I don't care. As long as the show goes, if you can hear us somewhat, I don't care. Like, that's a win. That's a win for me. If you can see us, that's all that matters.
I'll back off the mic some, see if that works.
I guess so. Like, my mic's like all the way over here. I don't know. If they can hear me, that's fine. Well,
yeah, Italy trip was fun.
Good trip.
As you guys announced, I got engaged while we were there, so that was a cliche American of going on European vacation and getting engaged.
I'm glad you saved the best for last because I was going to yell at you because I said, kind of what were the highlights? I expected that to be number one. It's like, well, I got engaged.
Stay first.
I got engaged. Well, Independence Day is a crap movie, and I got engaged.
Well, you guys had mentioned it already. So.
I know.
But yes, that was fun.
Abe is not babysitting for me. Abe's in Vegas right now. He's having fun.
I don't know why we weren't invited to that, but we'll do this instead.
Well, that's why he needed us to run the show. Who's going to run the show? Who's going to run the show?
Nick and that crazy bear he had while he was.
I love that teddy bear. The teddy bear was great.
That wasn't creepy at all.
All right, cool. No, that's awesome. You actually won that trip to Italy, right?
I did.
So was that both flights paid for, or did you have to?
Yeah, both there and back.
They're back. Nice.
Yeah, and then 3 of the 5 nights were paid for.
Oh, nice. It's pretty inexpensive. And you did Ireland last year, not too long ago, right?
Yeah, Ireland, London, Italy. I'm becoming a world traveler.
You are. That was like me, like, I don't know, like 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago.
Back where you had kids.
Well, from like 2007 to 2011, I was traveling way too much though. Yeah, even after I had Annie, I was traveling a bit. It wasn't as much.
And you were traveling to fun places like Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, in Milwaukee in wintertime. I think I did Milwaukee like 4 times in wintertime. I did Montreal like 6 times in wintertime. Montreal is actually a pretty city though. Montreal, I did Milwaukee once in the summertime. It's beautiful. Wisconsin, beautiful in the summertime. Don't go there in the wintertime. And Cleveland, just never go there, ever.
I've been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It was nice.
Don't go to Cleveland.
I was only there for like 12 hours.
Okay. Next topic. Topic number 2. We got some interesting spoilerish, if you will, Star Wars news this past week. There's some Star Wars novels that have they come out yet? Are they're about to come out?
This one is just getting reviewed this week, so I think it's
getting
out
reviewed. Okay.
It's in a trilogy from Chuck Wending.
It reveals the fate of, I won't say a beloved character,
a infamous character,
an infamous character, Jar Jar Binks. If you don't want to hear what happens with Jar Jar Binks, close your ears right now. We're going to talk about it for a couple minutes. Jar Jar Binks ends up becoming a street performer. He's somewhat banished for his role in getting Palpatine, I guess, elected as chancellor, whatever, right? And
or supreme
leader,
leader.
supreme chancellor or something like that. Yeah, whatever the position was. Jar Jar was like the deciding vote, or he was voting on behalf of Amidala, right?
Yeah, that was Revenge of the Sith.
So his punishment is he's now no one wants to talk to him, no one wants to acknowledge him, and he's a street performer. And from the little paragraph or something, it seemed kind of sad, really, that this is the fate of Jar Jar.
They describe him as like this kind of street performer clown who's the kid no one talks to and no one knows his name. Then he just kind of, they when they have his dialogue, they do it in the typical, Jar Jar, Misa, whatever,
Yeah. Misa made a big boo boo.
They don't. I'm not sure they even announced who he is but I mean, it's only a snippet of it. But from the dialogue, it's Jar Jar. I haven't actually read this trilogy, but it's the Empire. This one, Empire's End, I think it is. It takes place after 6. This series takes place in between 4, 5, and 6, like after 6. But I do love these the new canon of Star Wars. It drops these little tidbits like this, which is. If you told me there's going to be a Jar Jar Binks book, I wouldn't read it. But to throw in a little
something,
some nuggets like this, it's just a fun thing to do in a book, and it sews up stories every now and again.
Is this punishment enough for him, though?
It's a funny thing about Jar Jar, because I know George Lucas had a whole plan for Jar Jar that he won't tell us anymore. But everyone hated the first, Attack of Clones. No, not Attack of Clones, I'm sorry.
Phantom Menace.
It's so much, especially Jar Jar, that he just kind of scrapped his plan. And, then he was a little bit in Attack of Clones, and then he had the part at the end where he cast a vote, but he really wasn't in the movie.
No.
So, but he still needs to be addressed, I suppose. And it was to have him get shunned from his own people and society in general. I don't know if the book has anything more on him, that if he's killed or just dies alone, or I can't see him having a huge redemption arc or anything like that. But it's a fun little note to throw in a book. But it would be interesting if Lucas ever gave his real plan for what Jar Jar Binks is going to be. There's some who claim, there's a lot of YouTube videos who found out there where Jar Jar is a secret Sith, or he was a Jedi all along. Or he was just, he was the real, the vote at the end was his final, Sith-like thing. But I mean, there's a lot of fun YouTube videos out there with people But I mean, it's not, like I said, it's a hated character, but it's an infamous character. Everyone's, it's still one of the top known characters in Star Wars history. So to throw it in like this, I thought it was a fun. When I saw the story, I was like, oh, that's cool. I mean, just
yeah.
That the Star Wars, world as a whole is still, even in books and movies, TV shows, it's all connected like that.
So, looking at the chat, in fact, Richard James asks about the theories of him being a Sith, which you just addressed.
Yeah, there's one video about it, actually, where it shows him kind of flipping around and doing shit that only a Sith could kind of do. But, like in a book, as they talk about in the book, he's just kind of a clown now, so...
Gorkul Nacho Vidal is asking, are we doing book reviews now? If I wanted to read, I would turn on the damn subtitles. If you turn on the damn subtitles, you'd see nothing.
Yeah, I don't think we have that option.
I don't think we have subtitles or closed captions or anything. We're actually pretty bad when it comes to...
button, at least recently.
Yeah. The subscribe button just started working magically.
Which we did hit over 200 subscribers.
We did, so it's working. The subscribe button's working.
Party is coming.
Gorkul also wants to know about the IMDb closing the message boards. Did you see that? IMDb closing the message boards?
I didn't read it. I didn't realize IMDb message board was that filled with hate.
Yeah, well, it was. Yeah.
Well, any message board is, but I think that as as crazy as anything else.
No, it was bad. It was fun though. It was fun.
Yeah,
a lot of the same people that I've learned to become accustomed to in some of the message boards on some of the sites that entertainment sites that Anacool and Talkbacker and all that.
Is like the most neutral website in the world. To think that we have to shut down that message board really says something about the shittiness of people.
I mean, inherently people are shitty. I think we know that. I mean, it takes a lot of effort for people not to be shitty. I'm surprised that the human race still manages to exist because we're just shitty. I mean, look at who we just elected as president.
Oh God! Well, yeah.
Look at that. That happened. I wake up every morning and that's a reality. See, we can talk politics. We should, because the whole episode is going to be geared towards politics. But we can talk politics because Abe's not here. Abe hates the politics, so we can go off on it. But I mean, I wake up every morning and I'm like, all right, what the fuck did he say now?
This has been a pretty quiet week. I don't know if they took the Twitter away from him.
I mean, wait a minute. it's
Until
been
it's Tuesday. I'm
no,
not
no,
going.
no. So, yeah, so it's been a quiet week. But if you look in the last week or so, he alluded to something that happened in Sweden and then clarified. And when he clarified, it made, you know what,
Well, that's the thing. Every
it
time
made
he
sense.
gets
But
told wrong with something, it's always, oh, well, someone told me, or I saw it on the Fox News. When he said the thing about they called him out live during a press conference, which I actually watched in Italy because CNN was the only English channel we had, and that we ran into that somehow. When he said that he had the biggest electoral win in whatever how long, and someone had said, oh no,
no, it was actually
it's close. He just says, oh well, someone just told me that.
someone just told me that. Yeah, I mean that's the problem. Is
Just everything.
he's
It's
getting
just-
like fractions of news, or he's getting watered down kind of information, and he just
He'll just whatever he sees on O'Reilly, he'll just say, when it's whatever it is. And if someone says, "Oh," they're like, "Oh, well, people are saying it."
someone's saying it. Yeah, his people are saying it. Yeah.
People are saying you hear these things, and somehow they got him elected fucking president. There's a lot of it. If you go back to watch our, what was that, the Doctor Strange review, you'll get my thoughts on why he was elected.
Oh.
And yeah, we live in that's why we thought about this movie today.
I think so, yeah, and we'll get to that. In fact, topic 3, this is going to be fun. Marty sent this to me. Figured this would be a nice topic to lead up to our review. Famous gates. Of course, All the President's Men is about Watergate, but some other famous gates. And so I took a good chunk of this list. Let's pick our favorite gate. All right, I'm going to go through this list. We'll pick our favorite, or most, I would say favorite gate. All right?
What would they have done if this was not held at a like if this was just at the Hilton? What would we call
I have
scandal
no
for the
idea.
last 30 years?
Yeah,
I mean,
seriously.
it's crazy how much this scandal in this movie have just
I-
remained lexicon for 40 years.
Yeah, it's become like part of pop culture even. So we'll see that too, because the selection that I picked, and no, Robert Melee, not Stargate, but that is a good one. The selection I picked kind of goes pop culture, politics, and sports.
Sports, yeah.
I think
We had
those.
the threesome.
Okay, so let's go through this. All right. First on my list, Celebgate.
That was the nude pictures getting leaked?
Yes, see, I think Celebgate fails because
Yeah,
it's overshadowed by its other name, The Fappening.
Yep.
The Fappening is the more known name for Celebgate, so I think Celebgate fails.
Celebgate is like, that's not even describing what happened. You said like nude gate, pick gate,
Yeah, hack, new
Hack-
hick gate. Yeah, I don't know, something like that. But yeah.
That's
Next one on my list is Closet Gate. Do you know what Closet Gate is?
Closet Gate. I did see that one. No, I forgot what that one was.
Closet Gate is the Tom Cruise stuck in the closet episode of South Park.
Oh, South Park episode. Yeah.
That was Closet Gate. The Scientologists were all up in an uproar about it.
I don't think they ever showed those again.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, they got that one, and the Muhammad ones got black. Well, the only ones that got taken off the Comedy Central, I think.
So there's that one. Next one on my list is Donut Gate. Do you know Donut Gate?
Donut Gate was Ariana Grande
Yeah,
talking bad about America.
and licking donuts.
Yeah, because of how fat people are for eating those donuts or something. Which I remember seeing that when she said it, like, that's funny. Who do say everyone, oh God, I hate, like, jokingly, you say, oh God, I hate America. When you see, like, a butter-soaked, infused cheese burger and wrapped in a pizza or something, and you say, oh my God, I hate America. That's just funny. I didn't think that needed a gate.
I don't think so. I think that's still okay. I think here's one is going to challenge top of the list. I think it's going to be one of the top ones. Nipplegate.
Nipplegate, that was Janet Jackson.
Janet
right?
Jackson, Justin Timberlake, Super Bowl.
But that
Blew up.
has long-reaching ramifications. That one was pretty big.
Yeah, I think that.
Itself not as big, but the ramifications, because that led to all the FCC shit, and that was pretty much when stuff, the radio got, Howard Stern got slammed constantly, and
It just gave a forum. It gave it gave the opportunity, if you will, for the censorship to happen.
Do you remember we watched that Super Bowl at the Bayonne house?
That's right.
And I was watching the halftime show up in the little TV upstairs because no one else was watching the halftime show downstairs.
I think we were playing Madden.
Yeah, and I was watching. I was like, we were watching a little fucking box TV, and I was like, is that did she just pop a tit out? And then who knew it was going to be a fucking story for the next 2 years.
I mean, and it was so awesome too because it was the whole like because I'm gonna say I'm a fan of Justin Timberlake. I like his music for the most part. I think.
Oh, he got off scot-free there.
And he did, and it was that was his whole setup is like because the lyric is I'm gonna get you naked by the end of the song, and then boom pops out. It's it. Yeah. So that's Nipplegate. I think Nipplegate's gonna be hard to beat.
It's right up there.
But I think I have one that's close to home to us. The next one, Bridgegate.
Bridgegate, but yeah, I when I saw it today, I had actually forgotten that Bridge had gotten a gate to it. Just because, yeah, that was Christie shutting down the GWB.
Yep.
I guess because the mayor of Fort Lee, which is a town that's close to George Washington Bridge, wasn't nice to him one day or something because he's a ridiculous fat bitch. And I can say that because he's a heavy-set man from New Jersey.
I still doesn't take over Nipplegate.
But that was just another shameful thing for New Jersey.
All right, here's one. Here's one that's Emailgate.
Yeah, that was another one that was just a stupid gate slapped on.
It's a stupid gate slapped on, and here's the thing. Emails, Marty. Emails.
Yeah,
now this. Now, after all this has happened in a month and a half, emails. I don't want to go all politics here, but think of all the things that Trump criticized Obama for, and criticized Hillary for, the golf, Marty. His aides are lying about him golfing because it doesn't want to appear because he made fun of Obama for golfing. I think twice.
And then his trips to Mar-a-Lago already cost $10 million a pop, which has been $3.
Yeah, I mean, keeping his family in New York is costing us what, $1 million a day.
If Michelle Obama had said, "I'm going to stay in Chicago with the girls," you think that would have been cool with everybody?
Oh God, Emailgate.
That was more of a. No one really said that as much as they were talking. I mean, that email scandal was talked about every day, all day, but I don't think it never really touched.
It never latched on. The next two are tied to Trump: Pissgate, and Pussygate.
I didn't even know about. I knew the story of this, but I didn't know Pissgate was a thing. Pussygate was a thing, of course.
Still, I don't think they're known stories, but I don't think that the gates really work here. And yes, Gorkul, this is CNN fake news. Fake news. Okay, so now we get into some ones. There's Gamergate.
Gamergate was big.
Gamergate's big. Gamergate is huge significance, huge ramifications. I think that's close to Nipplegate, but I still think Nipplegate's number one.
Yeah, as from what we've said so far.
And yes, Amanda, Pussygate is really funny to say. All right, so let's get into some sports ones. I got 4 sports ones. I think the most known out of the 4. Which 2 do you got? I got 5 actually. I got 5.
I got Bountygate and Deflategate.
Okay, tied into Deflategate though, Spygate.
Spygate
was the first one out of those gates. Bountygate, of course, is Greg Williams and the Saints for bounties.
For hurting people.
Ridiculous. That shit's been happening for like 40 years.
Yeah.
So I throw that one out. Deflategate's pretty popular. Pretty known.
Bountygate got Sean Payton suspended for a year, though.
It did, yeah. Greg Williams was suspended indefinitely. He got a job with the Rams. Thank God he's gone now. Deflategate, Spygate, of course. Spygate also tied to the Rams because...
Spygate was kind of similar to Watergate in that things, they destroyed the tapes.
Yeah.
From when so it's kind of that cover-up type stuff that Watergate has. That was a nice one.
It's interesting. Last 2, maybe you know the Napgate. Do you know Napgate? Sound familiar?
No.
This was Ken Griffey Jr. This is when he was older. I think he was in like his final season. This was his final season, 2010. He took a nap during the game in the clubhouse, and it leaked out. So he was so embarrassed by it, he quit the team. He retired because he took a nap in the club. The dude was like 40 at the time, and he took a nap.
That probably happens all the time.
So, there's beer and chicken being eaten and drank in the clubhouse.
The bullpen guys probably sleep till the 6th inning.
I'm sure there's a lot worse that happens in there. Napgate. Last one to throw in here, Tattoogate. You know that one?
No.
Cost Jim Tressel his job.
Oh yeah, Ohio State.
Ohio
Where
State.
the tamest of scandals, considering what's going on in college football these days.
So ridiculous. So
Where
ridiculous.
they gave the jerseys for free tattoos, right? Is that what
Yeah.
it was?
Yep. Yep.
And then you got he got fired. He was a fucking great coach. He
Yeah.
still had a job.
That's
Somehow.
ridiculous. That's
Then
ridiculous.
Baylor is down there covering up rape every 5 minutes, and
It's terrible.
nothing happened to that coach yet. He just got fired, but he wasn't. He hasn't been suspended or blackballed like Tressel for some reason.
So if we had to vote on a top three, I'd say Nipplegate,
Okay,
Gamergate, and Deflategate. I'd say those are top three.
Was the Tom Brady, of course, and that was 2 years that went over for this. And all of them are Deflategate and Nipplegate started on just the dumbest of fucking things.
Oh God.
Gamergate was at least
That's yeah.
But Nipplegate was, oh my god, a nipple, and then we had the FCC take over for 5 years basically. And Deflategate, they took a couple of PSI levels out of football. We had to talk about it for 2 fucking years. And Tom Brady had to get revenge tour and win a Super Bowl over it because nothing good can stay, and the Patriots will always win.
So that's your curse. That is your curse, Marty.
Well, that's the curse of Spygate, actually. Ever since Spygate, we didn't rat on the Patriots. Well, we just said what was happening. And, nothing good has happened to us since, and they just keep on going. It was the number 1 pick. They just draft 3 guys in the 3rd round who will start.
Right. Stop trying to make fetch gapping, Gorp. Cool. All right. All the President's Men, 1976. It's a political thriller. Stars Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman. A couple other people. We'll mention them in a little bit. But they play Woodward and Bernstein, the journalists who essentially broke open the Watergate scandal. They were writers for the Washington Post, and the movie walks through how it started and how their investigation unfolded. And I think, first off, great fucking movie.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just get that out of the way. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it. You probably know the story. Still, watch it. Great performances. I think the movie works so well because it's tense, and it has all these great qualities of a crime thriller, because there is a crime and they're like a detective, like a mystery. It's not flashy. It's very subtle, but the cinematography in it, like the way that it's filmed in such this grandiose way. Like there's this overhead shot of when they're researching, and it's like the giant oh my god, it was just like,
I love how quiet the movie is. Like you talk about that scene, and it's just a scene for a couple minutes where all you hear is them flipping through papers, and there's so many scenes like that where all you hear is either the footsteps walking up and down a hallway or the typewriters. And it's just so quiet and intimate. And it's just, it's not flashy. It doesn't try to be anything more. It's just a story, and it's just the story of these 2 guys. And it's funny, like I was thinking about this. I don't think if you made the story again today, they would fuck it up.
I don't think they could do it. I agree.
They would go big. They would make, they would have a Nixon character. They would have all these other, they would have brought it to the outside world, where this movie is just almost in the newsroom, and these guys hunting it down. It's not, they use some real footage, but not a lot. They don't even really talk about Nixon that much.
No, not really.
He's just in the background. All these real people are in the background, but I think in a movie, if they make it today, they would feel the need to make it intense and make it big and bring in 10 other characters, where this is just 2 characters and a couple of editors who are also great.
Oh yeah, great performances.
Perfectly quiet, intense, like you said, crime thriller of a movie where even, like you said, what's going to happen, but I don't think people, especially back then, knew all the details of how it happened. And it's crazy how this huge story breaks on just, one secretary says one thing, and then one other says another thing, and it's just piece by piece by piece. And, like, it just couldn't happen today because everything is on, Twitter.
Right.
Cable news has to be out it has to be a story every day, and this was a story that they didn't even know it was a story. almost a year. You know, just kept working on it, kept working on it. They almost dropped. They almost stopped doing it a few
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
They were getting pressure, and no one else was covering it, and they just didn't think it was possible this to even happen because why the fuck would you do this? But yeah, it just the story matches the movie and how insane it was. But it's just like I said, it's in it filmed in was 76.
It's 76. Yeah, it came out in 76. Yeah.
Making references to it, even more than the gate thing. You have Deep Throat is something that's always
Oh
referenced.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's parodies about guys having secret meetings in garages, even mostly joking wise, but it's still what they're referencing every time you
Right.
see it. So
I
it's
mean,
insane.
even pop culture wise, the character of Deep Throat was pretty much the model for the Cigarette Man in X Files. I mean, that's essentially that concept. And it was the actor was Hal Holbrook. Hal Holbrook played Deep Throat, and solid performance. I think the other performances I loved in it too. Pops from Dirty Work.
Yeah.
It's Jack Warden. He was great. He was one of the editors, and then Jason Robards, who ended up winning Best Supporting Actor that year. He had some great. I mean, oh my God, the development of his character and just watching it evolve over the movie. Whereas at the point where it's just like, let's back them. It's like,
Yeah, it was that great line. It says, fuck it, let's back. Like everyone,
yeah,
they print the story, and he plays Ben Bradley, of course, the editor of the Washington Post, famous editor. And everyone's against the story. Everyone said it's a lie, and they're like all the other editors saying, "Oh, we gotta retract it. We gotta say, we gotta apologize, whatever." He's like, fuck it.
yeah, right. And one of my favorite parts of it is when he's talking to Woodward and Bernstein, and he basically says to them, it's like, don't get it fucking wrong again. Just like.
Well, it's funny when first the Metro editor guy, who they first assigned the story. When Woodward and Bernstein are kind of almost fighting about writing the story, and he just kind of walks by, and is like, "All right, you're on the story, don't fuck it up."
Yeah. And then
newspaper office culture. But, and just as a aside, of course, me and Dan actually met in college working for a college newspaper, so it was fun. It's fun to see.
Yeah, that's right. I was gonna bring that up too because I mean, you were a journalism major, right?
Yeah.
You got your degree in journalism, as did our buddy Mike.
Yeah.
And you did some journalism. You did some sports reporting for a while, and you did that. So, I mean, this type of movie, like, speak more to you from that journalism aspect. Do you become more attached to something like this because
it kind of harkens it back to an old, the idealized world of journalism, I guess, where it's guys trying to hunt down stories, working in a newspaper, that the nostalgia of a typewriter kind of a thing. Where like you watch it now, it's like, how the fuck did they even, how did you write these stories? How did it go from the typewriter to a fucking? Like, how do you do it? Like they're trying to. There's a funny part in the story where they're trying to figure out. They get a name, something Humphreys or something. They get a name, and they have to like find the guy's name in a fucking telephone book to go call him. It's like, you couldn't just Google him, okay? Or it was funny, like Redford, the person doesn't even know like half the people in the White House are because he wasn't.
it's just names like, oh, it's like, how are you covering this story and not know these people's names?
Yeah, it was a crazy time. It was just like almost door-to-door journalism, as it was. Like they were walking up to guys' doors and asking for interviews.
I mean, and honestly, like you were more involved in the newspaper than I was, but I was involved with it, and I wrote some stuff, and I like hanging out in the office and working on stories, and I more did opinion pieces. I did entertainment reviews and stuff like that, so I wasn't like actually writing and investigating. But there was a couple of stories that we covered when we were in college that. Again, they weren't like, oh my god, earth-shattering, but there were some investigative things going on, and it was fun. It was fun to be around that environment and to see, even on this small scale. So imagine just being around like Woodward and Bernstein when all this stuff is like kind of unraveling, and just being in an office, and at first it's nothing, and then when you see everything all abuzz, it must have been like awesome,
There was a crazy scene that reminded me of something that happened in college where Ben Bradley first comes up to him and he's reading their story and he's like, "Oh, you got who said this? Oh, some person." That's like, "Oh," he just kind of crosses that part out. And it was time me and our friend Eddie, who also worked with us on paper, we had this, crazy, investigation about, supposed sexual harassment going on in the cafeteria, which of course, we thought was the biggest thing ever. And we sit there, we wrote the story out, we thought we had great. We handed it to our advisor. He's like, "This is shit. You don't have this yet." He just got us like, rewrite this whole fucking thing. Like, oh shit. So when that team was like, "Oh god, yeah." Of course, it's much bigger respect for Hadley telling you to go like this.
Yeah, and I love Zodiac. Zodiac is probably, I think, the closest thing that I feel that gets. I mean, there's some great newspaper movies. I think we were talking about this a couple weeks ago when Mike was on, and when we were talking about Spotlight, right? We were talking about Spotlight, and
Spotlight tries to do this, but it does too much of the overdrawn. It made, again, these things could be true. They're based on true stories. But, over dramatized, screaming arguments in the office, and Mark Ruffalo running around, getting into arguments, people screaming at them. And this movie had that tense argument style of, but it wasn't over the top, bullshit people, So, what else have you had? You had Zodiac, which you said was good.
Zodiac's really great. The other one with Michael Keaton is it just called The Paper, right?
The Paper.
The Paper's fantastic.
It's a comedy.
It is,
But still drama, and it's had an outstanding cast. Robert Duvall, then Randy Quaid before he went fucking nuts. Who was the? Wasn't Glenn? Was it Glenn Close? Was it Glenn Close?
I can't remember who it was.
It was. So Marissa Tomei.
Paper's great. But I mean, close to like this. Well, I'd say Zodiac is probably close to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it actually realized how crazy was it. This movie comes out in '76.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy how fast, they put this movie out after how it all happened.
Yeah.
We talked about this when we did the Patriots Day review that no one really watched. But doing, modern day historical events, making movies about it almost in real time. It's crazy how fast they were able to put that out. And I guess back then it was a little easier because there wasn't the internet, there wasn't Twitter, not many people knew all the details. But to get the movie where Nixon resigned, in 73, 72? So 4 years later, they have a movie out about it.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. I think I told you I have the chat open on my other laptop. My other laptop battery's down to 8%, so I'm going to have you cover the chat from here on out. Just looking at it, though, most of it just broke down into Star Trek talk. And I saw that Abe popped in and commented, so hi Abe, thanks for watching.
Couldn't leave us alone.
But of course it's all about Star Trek over there, so I'm going to close my computer screen over there because it's going to die. So now I'm up to the one computer now, the one that's actually working and is plugged in. I thought about plugging in the other computer. I was like, oh, it'll be fine. I mentioned to you, this one's 7 years old. The battery in it is shit. It lasts like 30 minutes.
I haven't been able to unplug my laptop in about 2 years.
Thus why you're not running the show right now.
Operation here.
It's working. We're about 40 minutes in, and it hasn't died yet. So
maybe it did die, and they're just now talking about Star Trek.
It's quite possible. It's quite possible that there is no show going on, and we're continuing to talk. But you remember last time though, we could tell it was just all kind of like.
It was just moving around. Yeah.
It's not doing that.
How'd you like how this movie ends? Because it ends before the most of the action, really.
Right.
It ends before as Nixon,
I love it.
Inaugurated.
Love it.
And they're writing the story about how his fall, basically. It's almost set up where nowadays you would have a fucking sequel to it.
Yeah. You'd have like the Lord of the Rings type, like 6 endings. No, I love this. I love the ending to it. It's because there they are, they're at their desks, and Robards comes out and he's just like, Woodstein. I think he says Woodstein, and he calls them in, and they're watching, on the TV and everything, and just like, and then it's the typewriter, showing the. I think that's great. I think it's such a great ending. I think to drag it out anymore would have impacted it, because the focus isn't on. This movie wasn't about Nixon. Like, this focus wasn't about Nixon. It wasn't about Watergate per se. It was about the journey, about the investigation. right? And how that unfolded, and how clever they were. Like, when Redford, by the way, young Redford doesn't kind of look like Brad Pitt, and young Redford, kind of
Yeah,
similar,
yeah.
I saw a lot of similarities there, but Redford, saying, okay, well, let's just go back to this woman who you just interviewed, drop a name, and see how she reacts.
Yeah.
Drop the initial, and it's like, oh, no, we already know that's so and so, and see how she reacts. And they kept playing that stuff off of people, like, and it even gets him in trouble, where it's like, I guess maybe he thought I said hang up, if, or, yeah.
The famous the phone call where it says, "I'm going to count to 10. If you say nothing, it means I'm right." And the other guy thought it was the other way. So
Yeah.
that was actually. It's funny how Robert Redford's in this movie where he's the heartthrob of his day for the most part, but he still was able to play these kind of. You didn't when you saw him as a reporter, you didn't think, "Oh, that guy's too good looking" or whatever.
Right. He was able to, and it's not like they played that up either. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go talk to this woman and use my sexual charm, because I mean, you send Dustin Hoffman to talk to a woman, not gonna use the sexual charm there.
Hoffman's great in this thing.
He's fantastic. Underrated actor. Underrated, I think. And to this, I think he's overlooked. He's done some crap. I agree,
it's okay.
and that's probably shot him down a couple. But I mean, you think back to his career, so amazing.
Oh, Mrs. Robinson.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, this guy's been making movies now for over 40 years.
yeah, and Robert.
Was in fucking Captain America's whatever, Winter Soldier.
He's actually one of my favorite. When I crap on Marvel films a lot, but I think Redford, I actually like Winter Soldier, so I'm not gonna crap on that one. And Redford's great. I think Gary Shandling steals the show. And all those because he's in a couple of them. He's in Iron Man and
Iron Man,
yeah. But Redford's great. That was a great twist, if you will. And
so it's like both these guys, like I said, making movies for 4 years. Redford actually produced this movie, so even at that point, it was producing. He tried to do it again. I was wondering about this thing because you haven't seen many movies like this since. You haven't even seen anything. I mean, Woodward and Bernstein stayed writing their whole careers, writing a lot of books lately, and nothing really. They haven't really done anything that was merited a movie like this. Redford tried to do the Dan Rather story a couple of years ago.
Oh, that's another Gate, by the way. Rather Gate, wasn't that?
Rather, yeah,
that was one. Yeah,
but that didn't really do as well. I mean, didn't really hit the level this thing did. So it's, I was surprised that these two writers who really are still famous. They're kind of like the Paul and John of journalism for the most part. But they've never really hit the silver screen again with anything.
Yeah, but it's got to be tough. You break something like that, it's like that's your career.
Yeah, Woodward wrote a lot of.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he kept going.
He wrote a lot of books on Bush. Yeah. That he did some things.
President
on
Bush. President Bush.
He
did not. He did. Not a shitty '90s band or a adult themed book. No, he wrote a lot about President Bush.
41 and 43.
Mm-hmm. who are looking pretty good right now, by the way.
Oh yeah, well even in the wheelchair, I'd take Senior.
Well, you voted for W twice, right?
Once.
Once? You didn't vote for him the second time?
No, I voted the second time. I was too young to vote.
Oh, you were too young, so you voted for him the second time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wear that. I'll wear that A.
Still better than who we got right now.
It's funny. There's a funny line from Deep Throat in this movie that made me think about how we think about politics in general. And when he first meets with Redford, and he's like, "You guys have this overthought nostalgia, thought of the White House, where these guys are like they're stupid guys who went too far with something." So, anytime I hear someone going on about a conspiracy theory, or how either 9/11 happened because of the White House, or they killed Kennedy or whatever, it's like you give these people way too much fucking credit. A couple of jerk-offs knocking around a hotel,
Honestly, I think the one good thing Trump is going to do is really pull the curtain back. The whole Wizard of Oz thing, and you're going to see the man behind the curtain. Because I mean, I give a lot of credit to Obama, I do, but even so, like, you're only as good as the people you put around you, And
Oh,
Trump's just putting terrible people around. First
yeah.
off, so it's making him look even worse. Is when you have Kellyanne Conway and Sean Spicer as your essentially megaphones.
Kellyanne's almost gone by now. Like she
Oh
ain't
yeah,
heard much anymore. Spicer's one more Melissa McCarthy impression away from being fired. They had a lawyer on today who gave like 4 different answers to 4 different people, talking about what Floyd knew or what he was told to do.
yeah.
It's just gonna be. But like I said, we brought this one because talking about how Trump last week has said that now the press is the enemy
The
of the
enemy,
American
yeah, and
people.
then it's straight out of Nixon's playbook here.
It's I actually it's funny. The comparisons to Nixon are right on, but also insulting to Nixon. Because for the horrible person that Nixon was, and he was also a genius. He got his own ego and his own hatred for the world around him took him down eventually.
Yeah.
But he was still a smart. He was a political genius for
Very-
most of what he did. Trump is just a fucking jerk off who spouts over the mouth.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess we'll tie it into a lot of stuff that's going on with Russia. We'll say, right? I mean, that would be the big thing. If journalists, and you know who's going to break it, by the way. You know who are our top journalists nowadays? It's TMZ. TMZ is going to somehow break this, right?
Yeah.
TMZ is going to break. They're going to find like footage.
You
They're going to buy footage of Trump in Russia with those prostitutes and Pissgate. It was Pissgate, right? Not Pissygate. See, I'm mixing up Pussygate and Pissgate. And it's just becoming Pissygate. I guess merge the two together, it's gonna be TMZ, like TMZ or HuffPo or like one of those. Like Gawker was still around. I bet you Gawker would fucking, break this story somehow.
Yeah, we miss Gawker for this.
Gawker would be fun right now.
For this election. Yeah, that's not as cool.
Yeah. Deadspin. You see, Deadspin will have something about it somehow. That's the type of journalism we're looking at.
Best journalism I've seen in years when they
Oh,
broke that Manti Te'o fucking cover up thing. That when I read that sort of Jesus Christ, you went through all this shit. And Woodward and Bernstein they get out there on the news a lot now because again, people want to ask them about comparisons, and they've been on the news the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And hopefully they, I don't think anyone will talk to them anymore.
They're getting up there in age, though, right? So I mean, we have
are.
to start worrying about them.
I wonder if they're even friends. Because you don't really see them together anymore. Only for like an anniversary or something like that. They never really wrote much together.
Yeah, they didn't write anything after that. But even in the movie, it kind of shows. See, one of my favorite scenes is when Bernstein is he's rewriting Woodward's story, and he's like, you say it's crap, and you submit yours in. That's fine. I don't care. And like Woodward's like, no, yours is written better, but it's just like it's like get it right, and it was such a great, touching moment, and I think that might describe their relationship maybe over the years of how there is a mutual respect, but maybe it's not a genuine friendship per se. Maybe it didn't, the bonds were just professional and
They had some great banter to the movie too. That was
Yeah.
funny. It's like anytime there's like when I think Hoffman goes to light, I was like, is there any way you won't smoke?
yeah. That was something too to see the smoking in this. You don't see smoking like that in films anymore.
He sits down at someo's house and just starts lighting
So
up.
it's just, he walks in. He's like, okay, if you don't want to talk to me, can I at least get a cigarette? Okay. I'm gonna leave. Let me just get a match. Okay, I'm gonna leave. So, as it's great.
Crazy how the idea of smoking the last 10 years.
That's
10
probably 10, 15.
Like to smoke at someone's house or without saying something like it's like the biggest faux pas in fucking world.
I remember when New York did the ban
Yeah.
in restaurants and bars, and Hoboken still kept smoking. Like I had friends in New York, and they'd be like, "Yeah, we're going to Hoboken," because they want to be able to smoke in bars. And I was like, that was great for Hoboken for a while. It wasn't great for my lungs because I was hanging out in these bars just filled with smoke, but still.
It was funny on the air, like still when you're on the airline, they still have to say no smoking.
I know.
And I was wondering, like, how long How much longer do they have to fucking say that? Because when was the
That's
last
been
time
like
someone
30 something years. It's been at least 35 years or so. Yeah.
in Europe though? It's funny. They had these in the hangars or whatever terminals. I'm sorry. They have these like little areas where it's just a box. It's like a box over near, off the seats where people can go smoke, and it's just this room full of people blowing smoke into each other's
God.
faces. It's just a cancer den over there. Yeah, like just like every scene, someone's lighting up, and Hoffman's just walking around smoking, and I guess Bernstein quit at some point because he's still going, he's still kicking. So
Yeah, yeah, they're still around. How's the chat going? As I mentioned, I can't look at the chat.
someone, Carl Bernstein's still working. Yeah, we mentioned. I don't. He's still. Most of these guys probably just guest columnists or guest, book. They were started books, so I don't think I know, daily report anymore. Pissgate. Oh, she said Amanda notes that Carl Bernstein wrote some of the Pissgate articles. So
Oh, hey, look at that. He's staying topical.
Amanda's very excited about talking young Redford.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Like, a lot of like Brad Pitt.
I agree that you did underestimate Dustin Hoffman. I think he probably got some good action back in the
No,
day.
no, he did. But I mean, compared to Robert Redford, come
But
on.
Hoffman had to work a little harder for it probably. So people respect him. Redford probably walked in thinking, "Oh, I can just get whatever I want."
And he could. He still could now. What the fuck am I talking about?
Oh God, yeah. Abe's trying to get people to read.
Nah, they should. Read a book. Everyone should read a book. I want book reports by next week. Abe will be back next week, right? We gotta figure out a topic for next week. I got nothing right now.
We'll have the Oscar roundup because the Oscars are this Sunday.
Oh yeah. Oscars are this Sunday. I forgot about that.
Amanda,
Couple weeks we got Logan, right?
Logan will be March 3rd.
March 3rd, yeah. Hopefully I can.
We'll have a roundtable for that one.
Try to find time that I can get out to.
We also have the Power Rangers movie coming up. If anyone wants to watch that, I think Amanda would love to be on that roundtable.
I bet you Jamil would.
Jamil as well.
Jamil would do that.
Kong, Skull Island's coming out soon.
Yeah.
A couple of big blockbusters.
Yeah, there's a lot of blockbusters this year. So I mean, I'll definitely cover the kids movies. If anyone wants a roundtable, Cars 3, or Despicable Me 3.
Isn't there something coming out this weekend?
Yeah. Is it the Rock Dog comes out this weekend? Rock Dog. I'll go see that. I'll see that at some point.
Amanda brings up Ghost in the Shell.
Oh yeah, Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, I think we talked about maybe doing a roundtable for that. I think she wanted to do that.
Yes, we might just do a double roundtable where we talk about maybe 2 movies because so many are coming out.
As long as I don't have to produce that episode. I managed. Hey, we got through. It's not fancy. I didn't have like video intros like Abe. I didn't have music in the beginning.
It might be horrible the entire time. But
it's possible. Like, I mean, we're definitely running in 720. We're not running in 1080. For all you people with the glorious high def televisions, we're not doing 4K. I'm telling you that. This is not 4K. I don't even think. I think my Logitech fucking camera here, I think it maybe does 1080. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think we needed to see our backgrounds in high def.
No.
You got a shed there where you might hide some bodies, and I got just a closet back
See,
there.
that's my sound booth. That's my sound booth. Jeez.
Yeah. There you go.
Come on.
There we go.
Oh, fucking A. Wherever it is. And my sound booth is that. See, I'm pointing towards it, right?
Yeah.
I'm pointing towards it.
That's
my sound booth. I don't really go in there because I need the Ethernet cord for this laptop. So anyway, that's the sound booth. Back there at the very top, you can't really see it. That's like my Mets memorabilia stuff.
I can see that guy in the top right.
There's some Mets stuff up there. There's a Jose Reyes bobblehead. Yep. There's a Mike Piazza bobblehead. There's some. Every time I go to a Mets game, I get free stuff, and just put it back up there. So that's my Mets gear up there. That's my background. What's going on? I'm glad we talked about All the President's Men. It's a great film. And
topical,
it's very topical.
Getting with our current climate of the world.
Yeah, and it's a movie that I hadn't seen in a very, very long time, and I'm glad that we rewatched it.
Yeah, it pops up on TV every once in a while. It's always, you can just jump right into any part of it almost at this point.
It's on HBO, HBO On Demand, HBO Go. So, I mean, if you have HBO, check it out. If you borrow someone else's HBO, which I know happens, I'm not going to name names, but I do know people that borrow my HBO. Just go watch it. It's about 2 hours, 20 minutes. It's worth it.
Yep.
Take the time. Watch this great film. I think it's totally worth it. Anything else on All the President's Men?
No, I think we talked enough about that.
I agree. Guess we have a couple more minutes. There's nothing else going on in the chat. Getting in early. I'm fine with ending early.
Amanda was just talking about her love for Dustin Hoffman.
What's Amanda's favorite Dustin Hoffman film? What's your favorite Dustin Hoffman film?
Oh.
I love Outbreak. I don't think it's my favorite, but I love Outbreak.
What was the one with the sphere? Is it Sphere? Where it's him, Samuel Jackson, where they have that big gold ball up in it's like an alien or something they find, and like you go into it, they want fucking nuts basically on a submarine. Remember that one? That was crazy. What was this? He's mostly doing comedies these days.
He does do comedies.
I saw him the other day in not what the fuck was it?
Was he in Wag the Dog? Was he in Wag the Dog?
Yes, it was great.
Wag the Dog's really good. Yeah.
What happened to that? What happened to him in that one was fucking sad.
That's good.
He played a lawyer in. What was that movie about gun? And him and Hackman were going back and forth. I look up.
Rain Man, of course.
Rain Man, yeah, but I didn't love Rain Man.
I'm not a huge fan of Rain Man, but a solid performance. Yeah.
Born in 1937, so
he's getting up there.
Tootsie, of course.
Yeah, that's right.
Kramer versus Kramer, Jesus Christ.
I'm trying to think of one.
Yeah, he's mostly doing comedies now.
What was it? Midnight Cowboy. Midnight Cowboy.
God, yeah.
Fantastic performance.
That was a good one. You ever see that one?
No.
That was it was a gun. There was a gun violence, and it was pretty cool. Yeah, Sphere was the one. That was a crazy movie. Sleepers was the one I saw recently.
Yeah, you're talking about Sleepers. That was like all-star cast. That was just like
all-star cast of bad acting and shitty, just a horrible lie of a story.
So has Amanda said her favorite Hoffman yet?
Sphere is a guilty pleasure movie. She said.
Okay.
She her first one was A Graduate, of course.
Graduate, yeah.
Robert Maylay also liked The Sphere, or just was answering for me. I'm not sure.
Okay. He might have just been answering. Yeah. Cool.
It's a trippy movie if you ever check it out.
Awesome.
Sharon Stone's in it. She's fucking nuts.
She's always nuts. Was that Total Recall? She was in Total Recall. She was nuts in Total Recall.
Like a crazy just career. I mean, going back from he's been making hit movies since the fucking 60s. Graduate came out in 67.
That's amazing.
That's crazy. So, what, 50 years later?
Wayne's World was even paying homage to it.
He was a voice in Kung Fu Panda. So there you go.
Look at that. Guess we're gonna close out another episode of Movies and Stuff show. Please like, subscribe. Where's the subscribe button gonna be, Marty? It's gonna be.
Well, we got a lot of space today because there's not much of us here, so I'll put it somewhere in the middle there.
You know what? I can even look at this. I'm gonna do this for you. Boom. The bottom part is gonna be completely empty, so you have everything you want to work with. Bottom part. Just figure it out. Subscribe button's gonna be somewhere on the screen. Marty probably put some other episodes. Maybe since Oscars are next week, we got a couple Oscar episodes. We had 2 recent ones. He can throw that in there. That'd be awesome. Please, as I mentioned, like and subscribe. We're up to 201 subscribers, which is awesome. Looking at projections, it says we get 300 by, fall of this year. Let's try to get there sooner. Let's try to get 300 sooner. I think it'd be awesome. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at Movie Stuff Show. Marty does some tweeting. I do some tweeting every so often. I should try to do more.
I'll probably live tweet the Oscars.
Cool. Yeah.
Follow along.
Yeah. And then, follow us on Facebook. We do some rando stuff on Facebook as well. Sometimes Marty gets some... Do you have, a subscription to, Star Wars?
Whatever, the
Funkos? Yeah,
yeah. Those come out every couple months.
So, it opens those up. And
pictures up.
So it does that. We will be back next week. Abe will be joining us, and we'll have another show. We'll probably talk some Oscars,
Yeah.
probably talk something else as well.
It'll
We'll
be a
figure it out.
stuff heavy show next week.
It'll probably be a stuff-heavy show.
Oscars and stuff.
I guess with that, we'll end the show. Good night. Thanks, Marty.
Good night, everybody.